What is going on, everybody? I am your host, Gabe Dowd. Welcome back to the Turf Talk podcast. This is episode 4. And boys, I think this is going to be a great episode because we have a lot of trade news, as today was the NFL trade deadline and a great week 9 of the NFL season. Boys, are we ready?
Oh, yeah. Featuring my brand new Seahawks hat and week's worth of...
Hey, I got myself a nice little hat, too, if you guys can't tell. Repping the salute to the service. And Nick, unfortunately...
Next week, I'm going to get myself...
Unfortunately, is not repping a hat and not even his own team.
Yep, but
I got the Broncos shirt on underneath, I promise.
That, and it'll make sense later on in the episode, so just wait and give it time.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually start us off this week just because I want to talk about this trade real quick, and then we'll have Nick and Dom go from there. I want to start off. Denver Broncos trade Baron Browning to the Arizona Cardinals for a 6th rounder. Nothing special to the average typical fan. But the Arizona Cardinals are going on a little bit of a win streak here. They're looking pretty good. Granted, the Bears have not been the same team that we thought they were since the bye week.
Yep.
But I think the Cardinals, with that win, have a little bit more confidence and are willing to give up assets to take a piece to add to this team that... You know, I'm not the biggest Baron Browning fan now that I was a year ago, but I think he might add to their defense.
Oh, yeah, and
absolutely.
Especially like looking towards the future, too. This is a bigger pickup than it appears to be at the moment.
I mean, Nick, you can especially speak on this. Do you think he's going to have any sort of effect on their defense? Positively?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he's going to bring a solid pass rush ability to the Cardinals defense that they haven't really had.
I was going to say, it's not huge, but I think it's a much-needed piece that they addressed.
For a 6th round pick, I think it's worth it, absolutely.
You're not losing much.
Exactly.
Why don't you hit us with the next one, Nick?
The Lions found their Aiden Hutchinson replacement with Zadarius Smith from the Browns. The Lions got Smith and a 7th round pick, while the Browns got a 5th and a 6th. I think it's a great trade for the Lions.
It is a great trade, but I thought they were going to swing bigger.
I wanted them to go for Crosby.
I don't know if they could.
Crosby, yes.
Yeah.
See,
The Raiders are not going to give up
I know
Crosby.
that, but I had hope.
Me too. I want him out of the division, bro.
I even thought maybe Myles Garrett.
Browns aren't going to do that.
Yeah, but their franchise is falling apart again. For the second time.
It hasn't. It's been falling apart
That's
since
true.
he got
Yes,
there.
that's true. But since the draft of getting Baker and so on and so forth and going back to the playoffs for the first time in 20 some odd years, you could argue that they were back. Now they're back on the decline. You know, you're really good with that no, that really silent no. But I mean, Zadarius Smith by no means he's a great pass rusher. He's definitely going to add, and they needed it and they addressed it. So I think it's going to be great. But I wanted to see them swing bigger. But whatever.
I agree.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit out of order because I want to hit one of the bigger ones. You know, I want to
stealing the show, buddy.
Spark this up. But Ravens trading for cornerback Tre'Davious White. Guys.
I'm sorry, I don't.
He's not what he used to be.
Yeah,
But it's that name value that Nick brought up last week that we saw. I think he's going to add a lot to this team just in name value.
So what I will say is the Ravens are great at taking veteran players and getting the last bit of juice out of them.
Yeah.
True.
But is Tre'Davious White the guy that hasn't even enough juice left in him? I mean, it took a lot for the Rams to pick him up this past year in free agency. Are we going to see another team, or are we going to see him, perform the way he did on his previous team with the Bills?
Well, we see the Rams receive a 7th rounder in 2026. Do we think the Rams won this trade, or do we think the Ravens won this?
I mean, the Ravens definitely won this.
100%.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, it's definitely not the same guy that he was 3 years
I
ago.
completely agree, but I still think he has name value and player
He's
value.
definitely going to fill a hole that the secondary has been great, phenomenal team. But you cannot go say that their secondary has been great.
It's injuries crippling the league.
Exactly.
So,
since you're going to take that, I think a trade, in my opinion, that's going to pay off massively for the Steelers. Oh, sorry, I'm moving to the Steelers, by the way. I think it's a trade that's going to pay off massively for them is what took me by storm. Edge rusher, even though he's listed as a linebacker, Preston Smith was traded from the Packers to the Steelers today. Very close to the deadline, too. About an hour before it ended. I did not expect this at all.
And Packers receive a 7th round pick.
I didn't think that the Steelers' defense could get any more scarier than it already is. And now here we are. You now have T.J. Watt on the right and now Preston Smith on the left. I don't want to play that team.
And with Russell Wilson leading that passing attack.
Come on, bro. Stop with the Russell Wilson.
Speaking of that
Steelers
passing
are a new
attack,
team.
they got a new receiver today, Mike Williams from the Jets.
Oh.
I hate Russell Wilson. That could pay off.
100% it could.
Because George Pickens is already scary in the 50-50 game. Now you have another 6'4", 6'3" receiver who's known for catching unbelievable passes.
And Jets receive a 5th round pick for Mike Williams.
I'm going to go back to where Dom stepped over because even Nick, you didn't care too much for this trade either. Bengals trade for running back Khalil Herbert from the Bears. The Bears receive a 7th round pick in return for this. Yes, it's not the biggest news. Yes, Khalil Herbert has not touched the field much in the last 2 seasons.
I was going to say, I haven't really.
But going back 4 years ago, maybe, I think Khalil Herbert could if healthy be a game changer for them. He was a fantasy stud for me whenever Dave Montgomery was hurt on the Bears, and who's not to say that a shadow of what his old self was appears on the Bengals now.
Zach Moss didn't really appear on the Bengals.
So are you saying like they just can't develop running backs or get anything out of them?
I'm saying I don't think Khalil Herbert's the guy that's going to.
But is Chase Brown, their
perform.
current guy, going to be the guy?
Well,
I think he is for now.
looking at it now, you think of the Bengals, you think of what?
Joe Burrow?
Exactly.
Jamar Chase?
You think of that passing attack and that five pass touchdowns we saw just this past week.
Just last year they had Joe Mixon. He was good for them for years.
And now he's doing phenomenal on the Texans,
amazing.
which there are
I know, I
questions
got him
there,
on
but
my
we'll get to
fantasy
that.
team.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that. Another trade that was a little bit weird, since we're going to move on from that one, Cowboys trade for second-year wide receiver Jonathan Mingo from the Panthers. This one was weird to me. You were a second-round draft pick 2 seasons ago. I know your team is nothing.
Awful.
I understand the Panthers are awful and they're selling, and Dave Canales, who I think is a great coach and could be a great coach for the Panthers, is ultimately just going to start from step 1 this offseason, now that we know ultimately that Bryce Young isn't going to succeed, at least in Charlotte. So here's my thing. What was this trade for the Panthers, per se? It doesn't make sense to either side for me, but what's the Panthers' argument for making this trade? What justifies
So
this?
what did the Panthers receive through this trade?
I want to say a fourth round pick. Yeah,
Fourth round pick.
Which isn't bad. If you're good at
it's good
drafting.
for the future of the Panthers, considering you just said they want to do a full rebuild and start from zero.
But
So,
is it
I mean,
unfair to not give this guy a chance to keep developing?
Yes.
It is unfair.
I think it is. They've had struggling quarterback play. That's not a secret, right? Bryce Young has struggled. Andy Dalton's been okay,
better than Bryce Young?
Better than Bryce Young, yeah.
which doesn't say a whole lot.
Yeah,
right?
No.
Jonathan Mingo has that talent. He has that potential. I think he just needs somebody else under center.
But is Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott going to make him better on the Cowboys?
Nope.
Especially, granted, you've proven of all things, especially this week with the Ravens, that adding receivers to your teams often help the guy beside you, your fellow receivers. So maybe having CeeDee Lamb now as his partner and not Deontay Johnson or Xavier Legette, who's great, but he's a rookie still and is not attracting as much attention as CeeDee Lamb will.
Well,
Is the assumption that this could help him progress more in Dallas because of that?
we saw this just with the Chiefs. What is it?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, yep.
True.
Huge.
This week he did have a big presence in the game.
But,
Two touchdowns.
even
Yeah.
looking back at last week where his presence wasn't huge,
Not at all.
still opened up the field for Travis Kelce.
Even Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really changed the passing attack
Yep.
and gave Mahomes more weapons to go to on that offense.
Nick, why don't you tell us what the Commanders did today?
Commanders made a big move. They traded for Marshawn Lattimore from the
Ooh,
Saints.
I like this one.
The
So-
Saints got a 3rd, 4th, and a 6th round pick.
This is a decent package right here, but I think it's completely worth it because
I agree.
I think Lattimore's got a little bit more to offer than a Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
I agree.
100% agree with that.
I
But-
think when this guy's healthy, he's insane.
Yeah, but the Saints also receive a lot more.
And that's perfect because
That's
now
a
that
fair
Dennis
trade.
Allen's gone, which
Yep.
I didn't even list. Guys, Dennis
Yeah,
Allen
Dennis Allen got fired.
Yes, exactly. I think with Dennis Allen gone, whoever the new coach that comes in this offseason, because there's no way they're going to write it out with their interim coach.
No.
You've now got some pieces to play with in the draft.
And
A third, a fourth, and a sixth.
Yeah.
They don't sound great. I love mid-round picks. Those are the picks where you find true, passionate football players who turn out to be great players.
Yep.
Jonathan Cooper, who just got a 4-year extension for the Broncos, $60 million, which to Nick, you were worried at first. That's a lot of money, but only 30 of it's guaranteed. They actually did the numbers really good. George Payton was great with how he went about this, and I think that the signing's awesome. I just think that a player like this is going to pay off huge, especially for a team like the Commanders, who are now sitting at 7-2, and look nasty and serious in the NFC. I mean, they look like a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
Yes, the Lions are on top still, but the Commanders are not a team you can joke about anymore. I think that we can take them serious.
Well, we mentioned this on last week's podcast too, that now players like actually want to be traded to the Commanders for the first time in how
their
many years?
destination team.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There were reports that players were requesting to
Yes,
go to the
like
Commanders.
They wanted, and that's when you know the team's good.
It's the culture that Dan Quinn's built.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been saying it since he got fired. He's a really good head coach.
You wanted him in Denver.
I did. I wanted him more than Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I wanted him. He was my top option.
I was not, and I can see now where the Dan Quinn believers, I see where it was at.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he may not be some offensive guru, but I don't think that in every scenario that's what you need. I think you need a guy who just leads men
You
and
need a
is
leader,
fire.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
he just has passion.
It's almost like we see Dan Campbell bring to the Lions, really.
exactly
Yep.
like that.
It's just-
exactly like
yeah.
that. Everyone made fun of it in the beginning, and now
Yeah.
look,
Yeah,
they're the scariest team in
It's
the
that
NFL.
mentality of go for it on fourth down.
Sometimes you just need a guy who loves football, not a guy who knows the X's and O's.
Exactly.
Look at Brandon Staley. He knows the X's and O's better than anybody. And look at
He
where
didn't have a
is.
job now.
Yep.
Didn't have a job. And you know what sucks about that is I think this is outdated, but just going back to that, you ruined a roster that I used to be jealous of, considering I'm a Broncos fan in the AFC West. I liked the Chargers roster back when Staley was in charge of that team, and he completely ruined it.
Yep.
I don't know how. I've never
27-0.
I've never been the biggest Justin Herbert guy,
Yeah.
but he's competent.
That
He can win
offense
games
had
with him.
talent. I mean, Keenan
Yeah,
Allen
yes,
back when
exactly.
Keenan Allen was on
And
the
you had
Austin
Mike
Eckler.
you had Mike Williams healthy. How are you losing football games?
Yeah.
But that's in
They
the
had
past.
Hunter Henry,
so-
too.
Yeah, they had a lot of pieces. That defense
Melvin
was
Gordon.
that defense
None of
had
these are
a
Staley,
ton of
but-
pieces. You had Bosa, you had Khalil Mack. I mean,
Yeah.
how many
Derwin
more?
James.
Derwin James. Yeah,
Chris Harris.
you had no excuses at that point. But like I said, that's in the past. So we'll move on. Speaking of the AFC West, Raiders finally fire former offensive coordinator now Luke Getsy. I didn't like this hire even in the beginning. I mean, he shit the bed in Chicago. So what made you think he was gonna do something with Gardner Minshew in Vegas?
He shit the bed again.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna. I shouldn't say this. I don't think he's gonna get another offensive coordinating job. He's probably gonna go back to the Packers and be an assistant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best he probably can do at this point.
I mean, where do you fit in?
Yeah.
You've now ruined.
Don't.
You've ruined multiple situations. Granted, I don't know which place had good weapons, but yeah. Titans. Nick, why don't you tell us about the Titans? What happened with them?
Lloyd Cushenberry, their center, former Bronco, out for the season with a torn Achilles,
Terrible.
which really sucks. I was really rooting for him.
He got himself a bag this year, which highly deserved. I wish he could have stayed in Denver.
Yep.
Torn Achilles against the Patriots, so definitely a low blow. And I think it gets even worse, Dom, if you want to tell him what else happened to the Titans.
Titans safety Quandre Diggs out for the season with someone wants to pronounce this word for me.
Liz Frank injury. It's like the
Frank
joint in
injury.
between your big toe and the other toe after it.
Yeah.
You
So,
should be sad about that one. That's a former Seahawk.
Yeah. Safety.
Yeah.
I mean, he's past his prime, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason he's not.
But you
on the
don't ever
Seahawks
want to
anymore.
see a player be out for the season.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't much
We've
to compete
seen-
for in Tennessee anyways.
We've seen so many of those, like so many players out for the season this year. I feel like as they implement more safety rules, it's almost like more injuries. are
This
getting
year's
worse.
injury list has been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
it's
awful.
ruining teams.
I mean, I'm
It
going to get
is.
to it now before. I was going to talk about it later, but I'll just say it now. Tua's back. They look like they're in full control, but what I'm mainly aggravated about is no one wants him back in football for the love of him and his health, and then you go and watch him play, and he's got his chin strap unbuckled.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
asking for
You
it.
you hate that the media questions you, but you give them reason to question. Buckle your fucking chin strap. I
He
mean,
won't
what's
wear
the
the
big
Guardian
deal?
cap. He won't even buckle his chin strap.
Well, Guardian cap. I don't exactly
I mean,
agree with the
it's-
Guardian cap.
Yeah, I
you
don't agree
haven't
with
had
either.
5 concussions.
Yeah, but I get it's an extra layer of protection. But me personally, no scientific research going into it. This is just my personal.
And now that you've
biased
said this,
opinion.
tell them I agree with him on this. So please say this
So-
to people.
Helmets have that plasticky outside. You slide your hand across it. It's
Yep.
smooth. Two helmets hit each other. They slide off each other. It's less force
Okay, I
going
see where
directly
you're
in the
coming
head.
from.
Whereas the Guardian cap's fabric.
They're
it's some more
literally- they got
I
friction.
see where you're
Exactly.
coming
You
from.
have
Exactly.
two Guardian caps coming together. Not only is it more weight, which increases the impact amount,
You're
It's
more.
not
they
that
don't
much.
slide off
you're-
each other.
You're gonna be more likely to lead with your head at that point.
Yeah,
too.
it's like two big beanbags slapping each other in the air.
And
compared to
and
two
at first
basketballs.
when Dom told me this, I was like, where did you figure that out? And then I'm looking at them. Killingly, our old high school now has them.
Yeah.
I used them for my senior
Yeah,
year.
so I was gonna
and
say I've
not
seen them
just
on your
that,
guys' helmets, and they don't look like
But-
a slick material.
This is for
not.
going by personal experience. I felt like I led more with my head when I used them because
Yeah,
I feel
because
like
you
I
think
had
you're
more
awa-
on my head
yeah,
and I
you
was
think you're
invincible
more-
with it on.
Look
Yeah.
at a sport like rugby. They don't wear any equipment. There's almost no concussions in rugby.
Exactly. It's all form. That's all it is form.
Exactly.
It's not rules and it's not more gear. It's form.
Yep.
That's what does it.
It's
I'll
just
agree with
something
that.
I noticed watching the Dolphins game, and we'll get to it later. I just wanted to say I think it's
Yeah.
absurd that you're playing with one. It's one strap that you're not buckling. Just buckle it.
But yeah, back to Tua. He's got to buckle the chin strap.
That's absurd. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about it on Sunday when we watched
Yeah.
when we were watching football.
yeah.
But now that we got through the news, Nick, why don't you take us to what was a little bit of an entertaining game on Thursday Night Football?
Thursday night we had the Texans and the Jets. The final score was 21-13. Some things that stood out. Devontae Adams, I believe it was his first touchdown as a Jet.
Phenomenal game. He had 91. Let me check. 91 receiving yards.
Yep, 7 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 9 catches, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Phenomenal game
including
for both receivers.
an insane one-handed catch. Barely got that second foot
Bro
down.
went
I think
Air
it was
Jordan
his
for
knee,
a
actually.
second.
Yeah.
It was like his shin.
Yeah, it was his leg. It wasn't even his foot.
I didn't think it was a touchdown at first. I'm not gonna lie.
It didn't look like it,
No,
but
not at
Well,
all.
I was actually unaware of the shin rule because just after last week, that 1 foot thing happened in the back.
Yeah,
of
he
the
had the
end
same
zone.
foot.
a
going
shin
down
equals
twice.
2 feet, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's equal to like your butt hitting the end zone
Yep.
or
Your hand or
elbow
something.
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. And that catch, that's like Odell Beckham Jr. right there.
So they asked him after the game, and he's like, "I don't think I compare to Odell." Can we stop
Odell's
this? Come
catch
on.
was infinitely better than that one. I'm sorry.
Dude, better,
he-
yes.
he was
Infinitely
getting-
better. No.
There was pass interference called on that play. His jersey was being tugged.
There could have been on this too.
He caught it with 3
He had
fingers.
his one hand held.
3
Yeah.
fingers.
So that's when I say like Odell's is a historical moment. I don't know if this will go down as in history like Odell's did. I mean, we got Odell still being produced on phone cases and T-shirts.
Yeah.
But he went Air Jordan for about 3 seconds in the air, caught it one-handed, and pulled it in and didn't move at all.
It was an incredible catch.
So that's what I was gonna say. You can't take credit away that wasn't a phenomenal catch.
Yeah.
Dom had to text us in the group chat saying, "Dude, who's number 5?" And I was like,
No,
"Bro."
no.
But
no.
I took it out of
I was
context.
exposed.
I was messing with you
Because
guys.
at first I was like, "Bro, there's no way." And then, like Dom said,
'Cause, like, who's
he's
this guy? He
having
came
the
from
game-
nowhere and then just
a
had the
guy
game
that
of
we
his
all
life.
thought was gonna have an amazing season
Yeah.
is now finally living up to the hype.
Yeah. That's not even his. He had 2 one-handers
Yeah.
that game.
He had a couple great catches.
Yeah.
Him himself, he had 90 yards, let
Yeah.
alone. And like we talked about, Tay going to the Jets helps them get him more open.
That's true.
So
Absolutely.
now, if we keep him and
Dual
Aaron does
threat.
play another year or two with the Jets, you could see Garrett Wilson's stats definitely go through the roof.
Oh yeah.
What I wanted to say, a little bit of observation on my end, it's more on a joking end of anything. Looks like the Jets can only win on Thursday Night Football against
Right?
against
they blew
teams
out
having
the Patriots.
Yeah, and I'm not going to call the Texans a shitty team, but I think that there's definitely areas of concern right now. Yes, you've had multiple injuries. I'll give you that. The offensive line's not standing up like they used to. CJ Stroud is not sitting in the pocket as long. He looks frantic. He looks like he's having to run and evade pressure.
sophomore
I
slump.
think the Texans are a great team. But looking at the stat line, CJ Stroud went 11 for 30.
So I was just going to say, last week he had under 100 passing yards, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now here we are. You have plenty of
191
opportunity to throw it,
passing yards.
and you only have 191 passing yards without any touchdowns or anything.
And then Joe Mixon is picking up most of the slack on that offense. And I mean, you can't have one guy doing it all.
And Tank Dell had an amazing game.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're in a league. But that's the other thing. Let's look at that.
Tank Dell has 6 catches for 126 yards.
That's over a third of
yeah.
CJ Stroud's yards.
Yeah.
We're in a league now where 191 yards isn't going to get it done.
over a third. That's over half.
And that's why I was shocked that Bo Nix won with 60 passing yards against the Jets.
that
But
was an awesome game.
but we're in a league now where arguably you should always be averaging between 200 and 250 passing
I
yards.
agree.
Yep.
So I feel like right now, especially with a quarterback of his caliber,
Yep.
when you're playing at a level and you're at the level you should be playing and you're only putting up 191 passing yards, no touchdowns, and your team's not getting it done.
Yep.
I also do think you make those 2 or 3 field goals they miss. I don't know if it wins you the game, but maybe you're in it more. I mean, they were down 2 scores with 2 minutes to go. It was already over.
Yeah.
Much needed win for the Jets, but they can only get it done on Thursday night against teams that are having flukes on those nights. So I'm still not sold. Still the same old shitty Aaron Rodgers that we've had for the last 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So
Shitty. I don't agree with shitty.
you don't think so?
I love Aaron Rodgers too much to call him shitty.
I'm sorry. He just hasn't lived up to
Yeah,
it.
he hasn't.
Yeah, sure. He's been putting up the throwing yards. You're not winning games.
Exactly.
I'm not seeing the Aaron Rodgers that we used to see lead
Throwing
the
his
Packers
teammates
to.
under the bus.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that. You're supposed to be the leader.
The first thing that came out when Mike Williams was traded today was the clip of Aaron Rodgers basically outing him for their loss
Yep.
a few weeks ago. Terrible. Don't do that. Nick, you're a Broncos fan. Why don't you take
That I
us
am.
to what was supposed to be one of the biggest AFC 5-3 matchups of the weekend?
So the the Broncos and the Ravens had a real tight contest on Sunday.
Tight contest. Okay.
The final score was 41-10.
Oh, that's a close one.
Hey, it felt close. All right.
But
Yeah. Stand up.
Let
in my
me
seat.
be happy.
The start of the game, the Broncos were down 10-0. They go down the field. It was like a 90-something yard drive, right?
That was a good drive.
4th and goal.
I love the
Broncos
running
go
back
for
ruined
it. Broncos run the Philly special. Cortland
Oh,
Sutton
you're talking
throws
that
the
play.
ball
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Bo Nix. He goes up, catches the pass for a touchdown. He's the only player in the NFL to throw, catch, and run for a touchdown.
So not only is he our quarterback, and not only is he our running back, now he's
also
our wide receiver.
I told you, Bo
We've
Nix
watched-
is leading that offense.
We've watched that. Okay, so Dom, I actually have a question for you, though.
Okay.
You don't like Lamar Jackson because he's a quote-unquote running back.
He's 3rd in the league in passing yards, by the way.
So here's now my next question. What are your thoughts on Bo Nix when he uses his legs to win games? You say the same thing?
Well,
His better
here's the
rushing
difference.
stats than Lamar.
Here's the difference. Lamar Jackson has an offense that's stacked. You have Derrick Henry that's behind you. Who do the Broncos have?
Javonte Williams won't reach for the goddamn sticks when he needs to.
Exactly.
That
was
play
ridiculous.
pisses
That
me
was
off.
ridiculous.
You've now been in the league for 4 years. You're telling me on 4th and inches you don't have the awareness to. I'm not asking you to dive or put your life on the line. You are 4th and inches. I'm asking you to reach the ball. Put your
I'm
forearm
asking you
out.
to put your life on the line. We see QBs
I mean,
put
yeah,
their bodies
He
on the
didn't
line.
have to. All he had to do was go like this.
But I don't know if you know
His
what I'm
arm was
talking about, but
bent.
it was 4th and inches. It was a little flick. Do I agree with that play call? No, but it worked. It should have worked. It was open. It was there. All Javonte had to do was just stick his arm out.
Yep.
He had it bent like this. He had it in. And I get it. Ball security, especially the guy who's
But if
dropped
you're
the ball out.
on the goal line,
You're not. I'm not asking you to even reach. Just move your arm out. Like another half inch had been a first down,
Yeah.
and that's the drive I thought you were talking about because that we started on the 1 yard line. Now that momentum would have been crazy if we gotten that first down, and we went for on fourth down and 4th and goal maybe 4 or 5 times that game, and we
5
didn't convert
times.
any of them except that one on the touchdown.
We had a 4th and 4, 4th and 11. That was the 4th and 11 was the big throw to Troy Franklin that Bo
God, I wish
overthrew.
Bo got that. You knew he knew he missed it the minute he
Yep.
let go of it. He looked down at the ground and knew.
We had a 4th and 4, 4th and 11, couple of 4th and goals, and a 4th and 4, 4th and 5.
So I think we all can agree that Bo Nix is doing, and I wish he'd get the credit from the media. We can agree that Bo Nix is doing more with less compared to other rookies in the league.
yeah.
But
We saw Cortland Sutton have
I don't.
a huge game.
Oh, huge game. But and that's the
So
thing
is-
is, all he has is Cortland Sutton, no tight ends or anything. But I don't want to write off Troy Franklin yet. And like I told Nick, we need to
Yeah.
add a true number 1. But please don't give up on Troy yet because I think this time next year, him and Bo could have a legit connection. He's open all
he could
the
be
time.
the number 2 easily.
He knows how to beat coverages. Now it's time to catch the ball, and it's time for him and Bo to get the timing back together like it
Yeah.
was in college. Because unfortunately, it's not there right now.
Going back to Cortland Sutton, this was his first time ever having back-to-back 100-yard games in his
Nix,
entire
baby.
career. Yep.
They're on the same page. I look at them in the pre-snap. They're talking constantly. Cortland knows where it needs to be, and him and Bo are finally on a page now where it looks like they're honest with each other.
Yep.
If Cortland sees something he doesn't like or Bo doesn't see something he likes, they're very honest. Like, Bo does not sugarcoat anything.
That's what I love about
And
Bo.
what I'm finally starting to see with Bo, and you talked about this last week, Dom, his like he knows what he's doing now. I didn't agree with that totally compared to other rookies because I still said Jaden Daniels is my number 1.
Yeah.
But now I do see what you were saying. Bo Nix pre-snap, he looks at coverages and he knows what he's seeing now. And that's good to
Yeah.
see because Drew Lock did not have that this early.
Russell Wilson didn't have
barely
that.
had it. Year 11,
Well,
12 with us.
we're seeing traits about him come out much earlier than it takes.
Than
other
anticipated.
quarterbacks. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You're not going to say it's because of Sean Payton, but I hate to break it to you. It's because of Sean Payton. But
Bo
we
Nix.
won't.
It's
We
'cause
won't.
of Bo Nix.
Okay.
You know what else is because of Sean Payton? Will Jordan Humphrey being on the roster.
Get him off. Release him.
That was absurd.
Get someone else.
For anybody that doesn't know, Bo
This is the
Nix threw a
second week.
perfect pass right here. Bounces off his hands, interception. First throw of the game.
This is the second week in a row, first drive. He's costed us on a play that wasn't even like complex. Nothing was wrong. Nothing was set up badly.
A 2-yard pass.
Dude, it was a fake handoff, rollout underneath, and set it 3 yards out. And little Jordan Humphrey, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was already looking upfield to take the ball up or something, but it just popped right out of his hands, hit his fingers or something, and it just got caught. And
It's
I was
unbelievable.
pissed. How do you start the game off like that?
That killed the whole game right there, I think.
I don't know because Bo still looked like he wasn't done yet, but I think it did set a tone for the rest of the game.
Right.
I don't think it killed Bo yet. It
Didn't kill Bo. It didn't kill Court, but it killed everybody else.
You could see on the sidelines that it was like, well, here we
took
go.
the wind out of him.
Here we
for a
go.
minute.
Yep. Yeah. Why don't we stay in the AFC for? This was not as anticipated to be as good of a game as the Ravens and Broncos were. Dolphins and Bills. What the hell?
Huge game
Was
coming down
not
to the wire.
anticipating that.
30-27. I mean, this is decided by a field goal in the
A
very
61-yard
end of the
field
game.
goal.
Amari Cooper didn't even play in this
No,
game.
he was out. And I think that's part of the reason why we didn't see any Keon Coleman presence in this game. I mean, they literally
Yeah.
silenced Keon Coleman. I don't even think he had a catch. So
He's not even on the
I was going to
the
say,
list
I
here.
didn't bother even listing him because I don't think he even had a single catch. And if he did, it wasn't worth anything. But Josh Allen having the MVP season that he's finally having has allowed this team to hit a different level.
Yep.
And it's crazy. And I said that this wasn't like a shootout by any means. It was in the beginning a very defensive game, and you saw in the second half when the defense got gassed, both offenses weren't ready to stop because even Tua himself, and I love seeing this, the Dolphins are back.
Yeah.
They may not win games. That Dolphins offense is back, and Tyreek Hill, I think, is ready for it. He finally got himself some catches
So
this week.
one thing that I think is missing in our notes right here is how good the running backs for the Dolphins actually play.
Oh yeah, well it's Mike
A-Chain.
McDaniel offense.
Yep.
He's just like the Niners. They know how to produce running backs and they just get them going.
Like we saw Raheem Mostert just.
I think I saw a post earlier. A-Chain actually leads the Dolphins in receiving yards this year.
Are you for real?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I'll
Well,
fact check
yeah. I mean,
it,
think
just to
about
be
it.
sure.
Think about it. You had Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, but you have Tyreek
And-
Hill on this offense. You're telling
But
me that
again,
a running back
but
is-
again, you had Tyler Huntley and Skylar Thompson or whatever his name was at your quarterback for however many weeks that Tua was out.
Yeah.
Those quarterbacks weren't going to get the ball out to Tyreek like Tua does. Look, put all the Tua health stuff aside. He's a damn good quarterback who knows how to make reads, and him and Mike McDaniel are on a different level when they know what the game plan is.
He's actually third. I was wrong.
That's still crazy. Third.
Yeah.
He's
You're
got
running back?
302. Jalen Waddle is second with 310. Tyreek Hill's first
Okay,
with
that
446.
makes sense. That was the order I was looking for. So I'm like, this.
Wait, say Tyreek Hill's again.
446
That's got to be an all-time low for him.
by week
Yeah.
10.
Either way,
isn't it?
that's awful. That's all. Don't get me wrong. That's awful.
No, we
but-
didn't even mention it.
Speaking of awful,
Speaking about like top of the line stats that we missed completely on the Ravens game. Derrick Henry's at over 1,000 yards in only week 9.
We expected
That's
this, though. We
insane.
know how good
I didn't.
Derrick Henry
I
is.
knew he was going to be a threat on the Ravens. I didn't think he was still going to be that level
No,
of
I
King
think
Henry.
his touches would go down, right? Because they have Lamar.
And
No,
Justin
no,
Hiller's
I
not
think
bad.
it's the opposite
Right.
because now this defense has to spy Lamar at the same time they have to stop Derrick Henry's.
Denver did an actual good job of keeping Lamar from running the pocket at all.
They did.
Yeah.
He finished the game with negative yards, I think.
He only ran the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
And that's why I said Lamar needs to have respect because he won the game from the pocket with 3 touchdowns having an MVP season for the 3rd time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to stay on track with the Dolphins and Bills,
How about Jalen Waddle? Negative 4 yards and a touchdown.
it's a weird stat line, that's for sure.
His first touch, I think it was negative 20 yards or something like that. That's
So no one
insane.
looks at these statistics. It's like the time of possession, your third down efficiency, and all that. Both teams were under 50%. Both teams were 1 of 1 on 4th down. Both teams punted once and only ran 60 plays, or both teams only ran 60 plays and had only 30 minutes each of time of possession. That's a 50 split down the line. That's how you know this game was truly competitive and why it came down to a
It
field goal.
produced the even score that we see. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare occurrences when the box numbers do add up
Yeah,
to
yep.
something.
And
that
Josh
the actual
Allen,
outcome.
and this shows something, was emotional for Tyler Bass when he kicked that 61-yarder.
Yeah.
His post-game interview or press conference, whatever it was, on the field, when they were asking about it, it was getting emotional. He's like, "We love this guy," and I think it was because a lot of people wanted to get rid of Tyler Bass last year after all the missed field goals he was having. And I think this goes to show that this Bills locker room has finally matured, and I think they've hit a different level. And I don't think people realize that the nasty 7-2 record they're at. I think they're truly some competitive.
Crazy.
I cannot wait if this is what happens. If they play the Chiefs, I want this to be the time that Josh Allen finally rises up and is the guy that we've all thought he was and kicks Patrick Mahomes' ass in that team.
That
Yeah.
would be magical.
You know, if any team in the AFC is going to take...
For lack of better words,
Yeah.
magical.
If any team's going to take away the happiness from a Broncos fan in this playoff year this year, I want it to be the Bills crushing the Chiefs' hopes of anything.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of the undefeated. We'll get to it later because Dom's got a lot to talk
Yeah.
about, but I'm just so sick of the Chiefs running the AFC.
Well, Commanders and Giants
Yeah,
are up
let's get
next.
to it, yeah.
27-22 ending score. I'm going to get it out right out of the way. Also, I think for what the Giants are, a very good-ass game. We all expected this to be a blowout, be honest
We
with you
did.
boys.
We did.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. The best way I can describe the Giants watching them play on football or playing them on TV, watching them play football on TV, if I can talk, they're a headache.
Daniel
Yeah. Dude,
Jones by
You
himself.
have
is a
the
headache.
worst expectations, yet every time I'm watching them, I'm like, they're not half bad. What's going on? So we
They're-
know our coaching's good. We
Brian
know we've got
Dable.
young pieces. Dom,
So
what is it? Because I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
I don't know if we're on the same track right
I
now.
hope
You're
we
looking
are.
at me like
I hope we are.
I've said it right before, but I think it's how long Daniel Jones holds on to the ball.
I think it's Daniel Jones. Period. Get him the hell out.
Yep.
I can agree with that.
Just
I can
cut
agree
ties
with
the contract. Eat your pride like the Broncos did and get him out of there because you guys could be one young rookie or one young good quarterback
that.
away.
They could be developing
from
someone
competing.
much
They
better
could have
than
had
Daniel Jones.
Jaden Daniels.
I think they could have had a lot of quarterbacks from this
Yeah.
draft. We could have lost Bo Nix to them, who they were looking at. They were looking at him and Drake May. And now you have neither of them. You have Danny. Dude, could you imagine that the rate Drake May is producing right now on their team? With
Yeah.
well, I mean, he wouldn't have had Malik Neighbors. But I'm just saying, like,
Well, it's it's his lack of pocket presence right now. That's
It's lack of everything. He has nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, I will say this. Danny Dimes is athletic for his stature.
He had a nice run.
But, yeah, he did. And I'll get every week he has a nice run. But he just doesn't get it done. You're not doing enough for me to argue enough to pay you the money they pay you and keep you on this team and be the face of the franchise.
The fact that they chose him over Saquon, too, and Saquon having the year he's having.
Don't even get me started,
that
dude.
stinks.
I got one clip in my head when I hear Saquon.
We'll get to it. Because Saquon, he deserves his own moment of spotlight.
100%.
He stole the show that game. But, actually a perfect example of what the Giants could be if they solve this quarterback spot is the team they played. You fix this and you add a young quarterback like Cam Ward. You may not like him in the draft this year. I know you two don't watch college football, but for the listeners who do like college football and know who these people are, you add a Shedeur Sanders who could translate to the NFL. You add a Cam Ward who looked phenomenal for Miami. This Giants team could be like the Commanders are right now next season. But if you keep holding off because you're afraid to cut ties with Daniel Jones because Brian Daboll has so much faith in him and the money and all that, then you're going to keep having these same results. And I don't think that Brian Daboll is to blame for this and should be let go. Yeah. The Giants are stupid if they let him go.
So hang with me for 1 minute, guys. So this, I think, is an example of a game where the box scores doesn't accurately reflect how the Giants played. Because if you look at the stat line for this game, it looks like Daniel Jones played phenomenal. 20 for 26, 100.
What did the team lead in total yards versus the Commanders? I believe if you go to player stats underneath the thing, it might show you. Because now I'm curious. The Giants, I felt like, had the ball a lot longer than the Commanders did. They just didn't do a lot with the ball.
It's not that, but it's the very first play of this game we saw a strip sack where Bobby Wagner recovered it. I mean, that's why I'm saying the box scores don't accurately reflect it because it's a turnovers that Daniel Jones is causing.
But speaking of defenses, I think that's what breaks my heart the most is the Giants' defense has too much potential to just keep wasting it. Because I don't know that Dexter Lawrence stays much longer. He's shown his loyalty to New York, yes.
Yeah.
But do we see him staying, or do we eventually see him requesting a trade if the contract doesn't run out soon?
Or Kayvon Thibodeau. What do they do with him?
He's still under contract. He's still young enough, though.
You're going to have to make a decision eventually.
I really thought, and I prayed that maybe at the trade deadline, Dexter Lawrence, he's the first nose tackle that I've seen lead the league in sacks.
This far into the season.
Yeah. And, I really thought at the trade deadline someone would cough up a first or second for him, maybe multiple, because he's playing out of his mind. And I don't think that his talents need to be wasted in New York because I don't know if they're going to compete next year immediately either, especially if they keep Danny Dimes. And again, I'm going to stay by it. Brian Daboll is not the reason that there is failure, and I don't think you fire him until he proves that if he does get a new quarterback and it still blows up in your face.
Yeah.
Until then, I think the Giants, putting it simple, is a headache to watch. Yep. There's some bright spots, but you got a lot of stuff to clean up. Commanders, as usual, and as we know, are nasty. They're elite. They look like a threat in the NFC and an exciting team that I hope makes it to the NFC Championship and plays a team like the Lions.
And now I know, Gabe, I know you're foaming at the mouth to do this one, so please take us away with the
Jags versus Eagles. This game, again, another game that I don't even think I mentioned on last week's pod. Before we left the episode, we always give you guys a rundown of games to look forward to. I did not even include this game. The Jags look terrible.
Yeah,
the Eagles have been rather questionable, yet their record is successful. I did not think this game was worth mentioning. I think it was worth watching. I watched it, of course, because I had no choice. Because Red Zone was like, okay, we're going to start showing you this game now. There's turnover.
Seahawks game. Let's watch the Eagles.
We ended up having to stream the Seahawks game on Dom's phone while we had the Jags and Eagles on the TV. But this game was crazy. The Eagles need to clean up the turnovers because without these turnovers, we don't get this great game. So I'm grateful for it. But in terms of football, you need to clean up these turnovers. There's no reason for fumbling snaps, players with ball security, or Jalen Hurts turnovers. I don't think he threw an interception, but I'm just saying. You need to clean up the turnovers or else this game is over in the third quarter. This game was over the entire time. You had Saquon motherfucking Barkley backwards hurdle a player. My mom doesn't understand football, nor does she watch it like I do. And even she, who was sitting on the couch next to me, was in awe when she saw that. We both looked at the TV and were like, how did he do that? I've never seen an athlete do that.
It's one of those moments where you'll always remember where you are when you first saw it.
Dude. Dom, I wish you were at work in that moment because I don't think you were here yet.
I didn't see it live, but I saw clips.
I made sure to show you when you got here.
Yeah, and when I got home that night,
because that was early in the game. That was like the first, second quarter. Dom got there around halftime or so, but that game was insane. It was so fun to watch. Then you had Devontae Smith, one-handed catch for a touchdown. You had Jalen Hurts just kept running and slicing up the defense, who I have in fantasy alongside my Saquon Barkley.
Ooh.
And I'm not going to say what I said in the podcast, but let's just keep it real. I love me some Saquon Barkley.
100%.
Saquon's my guy. New York, you did him dirty, and I love watching him fucking ball out in the Kelly Greens.
I love that he went to a division rival.
Oh my God, it's awesome. I'm okay with the Eagles going far in the playoffs just because of Saquon.
Agreed.
Just because of Saquon.
Yeah.
That man is a phenomenal athlete.
Well,
we don't got to stay on this game anymore if we don't want to, but if you do, let you guys talk.
I just want to say
I
one
got
thing.
what I wanted to say out of that.
So, the Jags, Trevor Lawrence isn't the answer. I think they got to ship Trevor Lawrence out.
Yeah, but what else do you have? What else do you do?
You get rid of Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, what is your answer? What is your action after that? Because, look, yes, I don't think that Trevor Lawrence lived up to what we all thought he'd be. But let's face it, you don't got much better going elsewhere.
I don't think he's holding them back necessarily.
I mean, he did score that touchdown that put them in one possession at the end of the game.
Yeah, but
granted, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for his defense. But Trayvon Walker's the real deal too. I'm gonna throw that in there.
It's a touchy.
If you're gonna bring it up, you got because this is gonna get a lot of people pissed
you gotta
off.
Be confident.
I don't disagree with you totally.
So,
but I don't think now's the time you get rid of him. You can't.
No.
Not only are you newly in a contract, but
that's true. I say let the contract expire a little bit further.
That's 3 or 4 years.
I know, but I think they should do what the Panthers are doing in a way, like a full rebuild. I
don't think the Panthers intended
it.
to be that though until Bryce Young, blew up
I
in
don't
their
think
face.
the Jags roster is as bad as the Panthers.
I think it's
is.
Doug Peterson. Quite frankly, the head coach. No,
he's definitely partly to blame. If
he's
he was
not.
good,
He's not. Okay, yeah, he's not the entire
I think
reason.
that Super Bowl overrates him.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. I mean, you can't give all credit that Super Bowl to Doug Peterson. That roster that the Eagles had that year was nasty.
Insane.
And then you had Nick Foles, who had just enough to get you over the hump.
Yep.
I don't think that Doug Peterson is the only. He's not an elite coach.
No.
I'm sorry. And I think that if you had, I'm not going to give names, but I think if you had a younger, more fiery coach who aligns with Trevor Lawrence and the identity this team is trying to go for, maybe you get a different result.
Yeah.
Because we all know that Trevor Lawrence was that dude in college.
Yeah.
And showed us that he can be that dude in the NFL.
I don't even watch college, and
Just
I know
not
who he was
consistent.
before he was in the NFL.
Man, we knew who he was before he was even in his junior, sophomore year of college. We knew who he was as 3 games in as a freshman at Clemson.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well,
I don't think you're going to
we'll see where that goes in the future.
Yeah.
But moving on, I want to take this game for the sake of my Seahawks.
I'm not taking it, so go for it.
So Rams versus Seahawks with an end score of 26-20. I don't even know where to begin with this game.
Yeah, you do. Your team sucks. Just say it.
So we saw JSN have the game
Legacy
of
game.
his life.
I had him on my bench.
I mean, he was starting for me, put up,
points.
37 points. And listen to this one. 2 penalties brought back 80 of his yards. He would have had 80 more
serious?
passing yards
Nick,
on
I
time.
didn't know that.
I was recording this kid for the entirety of overtime. Actually, the last 5 minutes of fourth and the entirety of overtime. I've never seen this. He threw his phone across my living room.
I don't blame him.
I was. This game went into overtime with
That new shiny hat you see on his head had been thrown down about 5 or 6 times.
So, this is when I want to see Sam Howell play. I think we're ready
Ooh,
to start seeing Sam Howell
Yes,
play.
finally.
He finally
I'm
comes
gonna look at the
to
camera
his
for this
senses.
one. Yo, Mike McDonald, Seattle Seahawks. Where's my boy at? I loved him at, was it UNC he played for in college? It's about time we give him another chance because I don't think he was half bad in Washington.
Well, the
I
thing
agree.
is, we've seen Geno for consecutive weeks.
Play like shit.
No, I know, not even play like shit.
No, play like shit.
He went
Yeah, that's the
21
right way
for
to put it.
34, 360.
Give me a break.
Big
Wow.
whoop. Look at the
You
score.
can put up the numbers all you want. You're not winning games.
It's
you are
the
not
interception
elevating.
that's killing him. It's the red
I'm
zone
tired of the over.
turnovers.
Okay, yes, at a certain point, yes, it's turnovers, but you're not elevating this team. So you can put up 300 passing yards all you want. If you're
yes,
gonna
I
keep
completely
losing,
agree.
if you keep so
Just let me finish talking
Okay,
before.
go.
I said I'm ready to see Sam Howell
yeah, but then
because
in the same sentence you defend him. You defend Geno.
no, if you would let me finish and get my
I don't want to
sentences
hear you
out.
finish, but go.
So back to square one. I want to see Sam Howell play. I think the Seahawks are ready for him. Why? Because even though Geno Smith statistically is playing amazing,
Shut
it's
the
the
fuck
red
up.
zone turnovers that are absolutely
Okay, yeah.
crippling the Seahawks
If you're gonna throw an
offense.
interception, it can't be in the red zone.
3 interceptions, and what, 2 of them were in the red
and a
zone?
lot of those drives were long drives.
Yeah.
You just threw away
Yeah.
5-10 minutes
The-
of
no,
football.
It literally the Seahawks defense will make an amazing stop, and then Geno will throw an interception in their red zone.
I can't wait to see where that defense is next year when they've had time to gel and learn.
The defense is.
Defense?
Defense. Granted, I will say the Seahawks offensive line is god awful, and Geno Smith, it's hard for him to compete with that.
I just have no remorse for this guy. I want him done. I'm tired of it.
I do not like Geno Smith. I will
like
go
Geno
on
Smith.
record. Ever since that,
Geno Smith, we wrote back, bitch. What's
I
next?
was just gonna say that.
We wrote
Ever
back.
since that interview after that Broncos game, I have had such a
He hasn't
disdain
backed
for
it up
Geno
since.
Smith.
I don't care if you went to an NFC wild card. They haven't done shit since.
They don't like Geno Smith because he beat the Broncos. That's why.
No,
He didn't beat the Broncos. The
who
Seattle
is their
Seahawks
son?
beat the Broncos.
Exactly.
Yes,
I don't
but
care
Geno
about that
Smith had
game.
an
I don't care
amazing
about that
game
game at all. I don't even
yeah.
remember what the score
Regardless,
was.
Geno Smith still leads the league in passing yards, regardless of what you guys say.
You just said he should be benched.
No, I didn't say he should be benched. I said I'm ready to see Sam Howell play.
They can't play together. He's got to be
Geno on
benched if
the
you want
O-line.
Sam Howell in.
Put Geno at center.
Here, you know what? I'm gonna
He'll
prove
probably
you
play better
wrong.
than your
I'm gonna
center.
prove you wrong with your own game stats. Matthew Stafford, who came back, led his offense, elevates his offense,
Yep.
lifts receivers like Cooper Kupp, who I've argued is old and on the end of his prime. I shouldn't say only, had 298 passing yards against Geno Smith's 363 passing yards. But what did Matthew Stafford did? He walked away with a W. He put momentum in that offense. He elevated it. He opens the playbook. He gives Sean McVay and this
Yes,
offense a
but
reason to
no.
win football games. Geno Smith does not do that.
No. Yes,
Agreed.
you are correct, but incorrect.
No.
Yes,
No.
Geno. The reason,
You're taking my line.
stat-wise, the reason they didn't win that game was because of the turnovers by Geno Smith. I'm saying what
Matthew
Geno
Stafford didn't
Smith
have
needs to do
those.
is clean up the turnovers.
No, he needs to be benched. He needs to be out of
No,
Seattle. He's
no.
not the reason.
You just said.
Because you guys are being attacked by two Broncos fans right now. You guys
This
are
has
terrible.
nothing to
Attacking
do.
yourself, yo.
This has nothing to do with the Seattle. Me being a Broncos fan has absolutely nothing to do. This is me talking to you pure football.
Yep.
That your team could be really, really good right now.
But
is right. Is being held back.
No, yeah, okay, but see, you're correct, but incorrect. Yes, they are being held back, but it's not.
Tom,
by
I don't give a shit
Geno
that he's leading the league in passing. Do you want him starting or not?
I need to see Sam Howell
No.
play first.
Okay,
There
then we'll
you
move
go.
on. There it is.
There you go.
Folks, you've heard it. Dom's done with Geno Smith.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
You
hates
heard it
Geno
first.
Smith.
twisting my words.
You heard it first.
If
We're
they-
going to go to a better team and a better game in the NFC. We're going to go to Lions and Packers. Nick, do you want to introduce this game?
Sure.
Let's go.
So the final score of the game was 24-14.
There's a little attention in the room.
He's giving me
Just
a
a
little
little
look
bit.
right now. He's trying to poke the bear.
The Bears been poked.
Yeah.
So the Lions won 24-14. The Packers scored 3 points in a single quarter. That's absurd. With a quarterback they just paid that
It went
much
multiple
money
quarters
to.
with only scoring 3 points. The first quarter 3, the second 0, third 3. That's
said
pathetic.
That's
insane.
absurd.
That is god awful.
It's terrible.
They want to be big time contenders. They want to be this team
And they
that
show
can
it.
challenge the
They
Lions.
They had over 400 total yards.
They think they are, and then they come out and do this against a team that's
Yeah.
actually a contender.
But this is the same thing we saw in Seattle. It's
Oh, God.
crazy how the Packers had
Here we
over
go.
400 total yards. This is in your goddamn notes. Your goddamn notes. I'm reading word for word what you said.
So these aren't even your thoughts? You just damaged your own integrity.
I don't know what to say to you right now.
Do you want me to take
No.
Oh, then go.
I want you to let me talk.
Okay, then go. Guys, if you ever want to get Dom pissed, this is how we do it.
The Packers had over 400 total yards and led every statistical category in this game, yet still lost 24-14. So what happened, Gabe?
Same thing Gino does. You turn the ball over. This
Exactly.
just happens.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Are you trying to prove yourself here? Because I don't think you're doing it. And now who's silent? Take a deep breath. Let the viewers hear it. Now there's
what
dead
do
air.
you mean? by
Yeah,
that?
okay.
Now there's dead air because he's got nothing to say. Guys, I love arguing with Dom. We can make this a regular if we want. We can make a whole segment to it every week.
Yeah, I'm
pretty
sure the
much
viewers
have.
love it.
My thoughts on this game, if Dom is okay with me sharing my thoughts.
Oh, boy.
No, they're not bad. I like the Lions. Of course, I like the Lions. I like the Packers still. I still think they're a great team.
Obviously. I love the Packers.
I just think that these inconsistencies every week are going to be what holds them back come playoff time.
I agree.
You just lost to a team that you could play again.
It's like watching
in
the
the playoffs.
Cowboys play in the playoffs. They're gonna have a spectacular season and then sell the one
Whoa,
game.
I hope the
This year
Packers don't
they're
turn
not
into
gonna make
Cowboys. Yeah, they're not touching the playoffs this year. You lost Dak Prescott. I don't
Yeah,
even think I included the game. If I did,
Micah
we'll get
Parsons
to it.
hasn't
But
played.
yeah,
They're what 3-5?
5.
Yeah,
3-5,
3-5.
they're not touching the playoffs this year.
Yeah, thank
You
God.
lost Dak Prescott. You now got Cooper
Thank
Look at
Rush.
that division.
Those
Commanders,
CeeDee Lamb
Giants.
There's
still
a
need
whole
to play
album on TikTok of songs dedicated to how trash the Cowboys are.
Are you
You're not
serious?
touching the playoffs. So
That's
you haven't heard them?
awesome. No,
I'm gonna have to
I don't
play
have
them for you.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We got 2 people here.
Yeah, I don't have TikTok either.
Man, come on now.
Boo.
Did I mention the? Oh, I did. Okay, let's get to it then. Since we're talking about
Cowboys
it.
and the Falcons.
Cowboys and the Falcons. Let's get to it. You know, if we have any Cowboy listeners, you might want to click off now.
But okay, give it to the Cowboy listeners. A close game, 27-21.
It was not close.
Okay,
The score was close. The game was
close-wise.
not close.
Yeah.
And I'll finally say it right here on recording.
Oh boy.
I think I like the Falcons now. I think I'm in. I think I'm willing to get behind
We've
it.
been having this conversation the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, because
on and
I
off.
think it's worth having on and off because
I agree.
I think coming in I was not high on Kirk Cousins.
Well, the Falcons have been
man.
on and off as a team. they've
Exactly.
been on
That's
and off.
why. Yeah, that's
So
exactly.
we saw the Seahawks beat them, but then they came back the next week.
and they've looked great.
Yeah.
I mean,
They've responded.
Kirk Cousins,
well.
I think, is finally settling
So,
down into that offense.
just wait until next week happens because here's where I come into play. I think yes, the Falcons are great, and I'm starting to follow the hype now, and I'm starting to look forward to more Falcons games and seeing them compete in the NFC. But here's where I draw the line. Kirk Cousins is ripping defenses apart with his knowledge of the game. He is a tree trunk in that pocket. He does not move.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt him in playoffs. That's going to hurt him in late season. And I think it's going to hurt him when our Broncos
I
come
was
and play
just
them.
going to say that. 2 weeks.
I cannot wait for that game, even if it's an L, because quite frankly, I knew that these next 3 weeks were going to be absolutely hell. But I cannot wait to see not only how the Broncos game plan for the Falcons, but I can't wait to see how teams fare against the Falcons come late season and come playoffs, because we've seen the Falcons put up tons of points. We've seen them throw for 500 yards in one game.
Oh, yeah.
But like I just said, Kirk Cousins is not sitting in the pocket as comfortably as he once did, and I think that playoffs, when you play players play teams with elite defenses and elite players, that this is going to kill you.
Agreed.
So I mean, I don't know. How long
Well,
that
you got to
fares
give
for
it to the Cowboys because, again, this is just like the last game. The Cowboys led statistically in every single margin.
They always have tons of yardage. I mean, this is the thing that kills me with the Cowboys. And I partly shit on them because it's just fun to do.
Yeah.
It's a culture. It's almost like a norm in the USA. But
Ironic
because it's America's team. But you have all these stud players, and this is my next question that I've been asking for 2 years now. Micah Parsons' contract extension is going to be coming up soon. I think any team, and I mean any team, will cough up whatever it takes to have
get him
that
to the
player
Lions.
on your team.
Think about
That's
that,
not
guy.
happening, but that would be scary.
That would be crazy.
But here's the thing. The Cowboys ideally cannot afford him, and if they do, the cap doesn't exist.
not after paying Dak and CeeDee what
Yes,
they paid him.
exactly. So if this offseason is the offseason where Micah Parsons is requiring the extension or wanting the extension, are the Cowboys even going to be able to afford it?
No. They
Because-
shouldn't.
No way.
Under the
There's no
salary
You
cap
lose him, you're
rules.
really not competing. He is the heart and soul of that defense.
So this
Yeah.
is when I think it's time for CeeDee Lamb to also move on because CeeDee
but they just
Lamb,
extended him. You
Yeah.
can't do that unless
I know, but
That shuts down your whole offense. Who do they have other than him?
yeah, but
If you're doing that, then Jerry Jones needs to
Brandon
come out and
Cooks?
say we're doing a full rebuild.
yes, and I
He
think
won't
that's
say
what
that.
they need.
But if you do that,
I agree.
You're going to be in cap hell casualty.
They're going to be the
You're-
Saints.
Yeah, you're flipping on Dak Prescott. You're flipping on CeeDee Lamb. You're flipping on everything they've ever paid in that offensive line
They're stuck where they are.
for a long time.
With
For a
Jerry
long
Jones, too,
time.
they put
that is
themselves in
not
that
good.
situation.
They paid
100%
they
they
paid elite top of the line money for mediocre play. Great.
Bingo.
Congratulations.
I wouldn't even say mediocre though. It's just,
Dak Prescott.
okay. Yes,
No,
but
let me
I'm
finish.
talking about CeeDee Lamb.
Congratulations. You've
CeeDee
had
Lamb.
great regular season winning records. You've done nothing with it.
Yeah,
Get rid of
every
Mike
single
McCarthy.
season.
Why is he still there?
Because he won one Super Bowl, and guess who's the reason for that? Aaron Rodgers, not him.
And how
Bingo.
much are they giving Ezekiel Elliott to come back to that play on that offense?
They probably gave him just a
Minimum, I
base
think.
minimum deal,
Minimum,
but it's
yeah,
still
but-
guaranteed money. It's still
They didn't even take him with them to
he's
the
a healthy
game.
scratch. It's like, why even put him on the team for what, a relationship
Not only
reason?
was he a
Yeah.
healthy
No.
scratch, they didn't even let him travel with the team
Yeah,
because
that's
of
crazy.
disciplinary reasons.
Yep.
Because he's
Were
been
they
late
even
to
listed?
team meetings.
No, that's why. Okay,
That is,
Why was it?
he was late to team meetings consistently.
unprofessional. You've now been in the league for what, 8,
Yeah.
9
7
years,
years, I
7
think.
years. Yeah.
It's your job. Come on.
2016. So that's 8 years. Yeah.
Before we move on from this game, though, I do want to give credit to like Darnell Mooney, bro. He has, even now with Drake London, who is out this game, not out this game, he
Week
left the
after
game.
week,
He
he's
left the
been-
game with a
yeah.
hip injury after that amazing touchdown catch. I think Darnell Mooney has solidified his role in this offense and is a
yeah.
legit number 2.
Oh yeah.
5 catches, 88 yards, and a tutty.
And he's
That's
been
all it
putting
takes.
up fantasy points for me week after
Yes,
week.
sir.
That's what I'm gonna say. If anybody
Yes,
knows
sir.
it's you, because you're the one who picked him up.
Yep.
I stayed away
I
from
got
it.
him
and
too.
I wish I
got
did.
him too.
I wish I didn't.
I've had people trying to trade me for him, and I'm like, no, I'm happy with him.
Yep.
Hey, if fantasy points are coming through him, it must be
And
translated.
I just picked up Cortland Sutton too, who just had an amazing week. I'm considering starting him.
That kills me. I didn't know he was a free agent. Me
Yeah.
and Dom are in the same league.
yeah.
Had I known that,
I picked up Mooney too off of free agency.
Gabe,
I
you
mean,
gotta
I
get
just
on this
checked,
stuff,
and then
man.
these people are just sitting
yeah,
there.
and
I'm
guess
like, who
what?
dropped
Now
him?
I'm stuck with Jordan Mason, who's now projected 4 points thanks to CMC coming back. Bro,
Oh, CMC's coming back?
oh yes,
Yes, sir.
I'm pissed
They
about
just
it.
activated
I'm
him off
so
IR.
mad. You would think
We
I'd
didn't even put it on the
appreciate-
list of news.
Yeah, I know because it was late. There's also another trade I forgot to put. The Texans traded a defensive lineman somewhere. I don't remember what it was.
I don't even
Did you
remember.
see it? It was like
I saw it, but I don't remember.
It was like 2
anything.
minutes after the deadline.
Okay,
Yeah.
but CMC's coming back.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I thought he
is.
was going to stay out the rest of the season.
so did I. I thought maybe he'd just stick it out and
But,
get
I
healthy.
wondered how this is going
I
to
wouldn't.
spark the 49ers offense back. You think they're going to be that same
I
old
didn't include it.
team
We want
that
to talk about it. They're on their bye week. You want to talk about that potential right now, real quick, for a few minutes?
they were? Or do we save it and see where it goes?
Put a prediction. What do you think happens? Did we even list
Yeah.
them for the?
Let's just put a prediction in right now.
What are you predicting? What are you predicting? What do you want to put the line
what
as?
CMC is going to do
What- how-
for the 49ers?
First game's gonna be slow. I think you're not gonna give him a ton of production. You don't want to risk him right
yeah,
away.
Yeah, you
it's
don't
going to be
wanna-
like Nick Chubb. They're going to
Gradually,
Yep.
yeah. If
exactly.
anything, you'll start him off with between 8 and 10 carries.
Yeah.
And then towards playoffs is when you'll get him
But
back
I
into
think
that
when
15
he's
to 20
full
range.
back into that workload that he was used to before, I think the 49ers offense systematically changes.
Any other
completely.
year, I'd be excited for this. You know, I've got a lot of friends who are 49ers fans. I won't
Yeah.
call them out now, but they know who they are. Any 49er fans, and including me, who's not a fan of the team, but I love watching them play because they're a
I
phenomenal
don't.
roster.
I don't.
Well, yeah, you,
They're in
Yeah,
the same
well,
division.
you guys
division
can't
rivals.
beat
The
them. That's
Seahawks
why.
can't beat them.
But I'd usually be excited for a move like this. It killed my fantasy team. I don't have running backs. I'm in
You
a,
don't have
That's
running
on
I'm in a
you,
12-man league. I'm in a 12-man league. It's getting real dry, okay? Hollywood Brown, I drafted. IR, it's never coming back.
You don't have running backs?
Shush.
You have
No, I
Saquon
don't.
Barkley.
Oh, what is one running back going to do when I'm only going to
Buddy,
put...
have you seen my running backs? I don't even know what the hell their names are.
Well, guess what? My team's got potential. Your team's like freaking 2-7. I don't care what your team looks like. I'm worried about my team because now that Jordan Mason's out, I got to put Javonte Williams in, who, loyalty to my
Hey.
team. Get him the hell out, honestly. He hasn't done shit. He hasn't done shit. Draft a running back in the second or third round. Come on now.
You want to talk about running backs? You want to know who I have? I have Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Javonte
Oh
Williams.
my God.
on
Good
the
for
same
you.
Team.
Yeah.
On the
do,
same
do you
team.
want a medal?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
because you know what I got? I've got Jordan Mason, Saquon Barkley, and DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift from week to week decides if he wants to play good football or not. But Jordan Mason leaves the game every week with a shoulder injury, and now we're down to 4 points projection.
Womp.
And here's what's going to kick my ass the most is because I know that Christian McCaffrey's going to be on a snap count. I'm not going to put him in still just because, I love hurting myself. He's still going to get a bulk of the carries. Watch, he'll put up 18 points this week on my bench. I'll be like, oh, they're still going to use him. I'll
He'll
put him
get
in
that
next
goal line
week.
touchdown.
And then I'll put him in next week, and he'll get like 2.
Yep.
This is why I'm
Hey,
not
welcome
excited
to
for the
my
Niners
world.
to get CMC back.
I'm excited.
I'm
It's gonna
falling
be a
apart
slow
with
start.
injuries, Dom. I lost DK Metcalf. I can't get Keon Coleman off the waivers. It didn't freaking matter because he did shit this week in fantasy,
Hey,
so I guess it didn't matter.
Hey, listen, I have no injuries and my team still sucks.
Yeah, guess what?
That's on you,
That's a
buddy.
football knowledge
That's
issue.
on you,
No,
That's a-
buddy.
that's
no,
a
it's
knowledge
not
issue.
on me. It's that I play the highest scoring team in the league.
Dom, I
every
have
single
played
play
you.
the same team over and
I
over
have
again.
played you in the league already. I'm going to play you again. I'll probably kick your ass again.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I had 160
Buddy, if
goddamn
you're like
points
2 and
dropped on
7
me
or
this
whatever
week.
you
What,
are.
what do I do against that?
Yeah, you got dropped on 160 points bar. The viewers aren't going to see him, but one of my buddy Jordan, who's helping us with the camera production over here in the back, you lost to him, who has a worse team than you.
He put up 160 points
And all he did was draft the Ravens, bro. He has Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
Zay Flowers. You combined for like 60
because they
this
played
week.
the fucking poverty Broncos defense.
Shut the fuck
Bro,
up,
get
bro.
outta here with that,
Shut
yo.
up, bro. Dude, Zay Flowers torched us. I'll give you that. But come on. Like,
Yeah.
no, your team's just trash. It's
No,
a you
I put up
issue.
140 points against them.
Hey,
I
but-
just can't win against 160.
Here's a bit of
drop them.
advice for you. Stay away from coaching. I'm just going to say it now. I think that bit of that air there's a perfect
Get a
segue.
screenshot of that face and put it as the cover.
I'll put that right here on the wall. I think that's the perfect segue to the Sunday Night Football game. Is that silence right there? I honestly give two shits about this game. The fucking Colts are not what we thought they were going to be with Joe Flacco. So one of you want to take this
Joe
game?
Flacco
take it.
is
I can go without this game. I'm going to be honest with you.
Bro, Joe Flacco flopped. And Sam Darnold, take away the two interceptions, he had a pretty good game. Justin Jefferson's
You
elite.
can't say that. Take away his two giant mistakes and he was fantastic.
I'm just saying.
You can't do that.
Justin Jefferson pulling through.
Okay, well, look, they still won, all right? But I'm just saying, you take that away, this game was even more of a flop for the Colts because they got torched by, well, the score doesn't say that, but they technically got torched by Justin Jefferson the entire game.
That's another one of my fantasy stars. 7 catches, 137 yards.
God.
Okay,
So,
points from
I'm
me.
sick of it. I'm over it. Okay.
What? What do you mean you're sick of it? Well, you can't just do that.
I just did it.
If you're going to transition the right, I can't talk, the right way.
Okay, what's the right way?
Buddy definitely went up.
I don't
there
know.
some
I was going to ask
Okay,
Nick.
guys. I want to talk about Monday Night
No,
Football.
no, we're not there yet.
Yes, we are.
No.
Because this is going to be a long, drawn-out thing, bro.
Yeah, screw it. We'll just go
Both
to it.
of us got something to say
Okay.
about this.
So
Screw it.
I want you guys to just give me a minute to talk
We're
about
far from
this one.
professional now here in episode 4.
We don't got to be professional. We got to be entertaining.
Exactly. Nick's got it. But anyways,
Can you get to the point?
so Monday Night Football, we saw a
Bucks
game.
and Chiefs. I'll take a ticket for you if you need me to.
The final score, 30-24. We saw. So first, starting with the good. It doesn't matter how many wide receivers the Bucks lose. Baker Mayfield,
is a dog.
Such a good player.
amazing. Like
Bucks found their quarterback.
100%.
Contract
Revived.
extension completely worth it.
revived. 23 for 31, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Amazing. With
Never misses
Who
against
are
six
good
receivers.
Defense.
Phenomenal defense.
Yeah.
I hate the Chiefs. Great defense.
Spags is a great coordinator.
Yeah, for sure.
and who's he throwing to? Give me some names.
Baker,
Yeah.
an old Sterling Shepard, Kate Otten, who's now a great tight end apparently.
Yeah, just
and
out of nowhere.
and a
just-
bunch of like third string receivers from other teams like
Yeah.
Joshua Palmer or whatever. Or
Yeah.
was it James?
Josh Palmer's on
yeah,
the Chargers.
Palmer, yeah. No, Palmer's.
Then they have some Palmer on this team because I kept
Yeah.
hearing his name
Yeah,
last night.
yeah, yeah.
Josh
that
Palmer
sounds-
scored for the Chargers.
I will give credit though to Sterling Shepard for popping out when they needed him in the fourth
Dude.
quarter.
Oh
Those
my
two
God.
acrobatic catches he had. Round of applause.
Didn't the
Yeah,
whole
Josh
game
Palmer's on the
Baker
Chargers.
Mayfield only completed like a couple of passes to receivers? It was mostly a tight end.
23 to 31 is a good stat line.
Yeah,
Trey
but
Palmer.
mostly the tight ends.
Last week too.
Yeah,
Kate
yeah.
Ottens is a huge target now.
So something that I want to get on.
Actually,
with
this week he
game
only had 8. Well, we don't know what his target share was, but he only had 8 catches from Baker. So
is how much of a loser Patrick Mahomes is.
well, yeah. We all know how we feel about Patrick
So
Mahomes.
before we get to the refs,
If you're not from Missouri or Kansas City, I feel like we all agree on that.
Patrick
Mahomes is a
Mahomes goes
fucking
down
joke.
after throwing a touchdown pass, screaming like Kermit the Frog.
Dude, we saw it on the Netflix special last year in the playoffs. It's gonna happen every year. All right, get
He
used
has
to
to
it.
get
He wants
helped off the
sympathy. He
field.
wants sympathy, and he's not going to get it
And
from
then
me.
he's running
He's not
around.
gonna get it
Get
from
used
me.
to him limping and get used to him coming back in with this stupid stadium erupting. All right, and you know they had to say it on the broadcast just so they could get their
Yep.
stupid sharing for ESPN.
Yep.
I feel like they're paid. I feel like they're paid to glaze Mahomes.
Chris
That's
Collinsworth. He
not
has
a
to be.
crazy thing to
Okay,
say.
well, they didn't glaze him like Chris Collinsworth does, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Tony Romo?
But they always got to throw it.
No,
I don't know.
Jim, I don't know, Jim. I don't know. Yeah, like that time against the Bengals, we threw the dirt. That's an elite play right there. That'll win you game. No, it won't.
So,
just stop talking.
I think Troy Aikman, and who else?
Joe Buck.
Joe Buck. did
Phenomenal
this game.
broadcast.
I
I
love
love
Joe
that.
Buck.
They did amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the refs with this game.
Please
I just
do.
want to break it
Please
down
do.
for you. How much of an
Bro, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were even getting.
yes?
Yeah.
So to start off, there was a catch by don't remember which receiver caught the ball, but it was a sideline catch, and he was obviously in. The ref marked him in.
You're talking about for the Bucks or the
Sterling,
Chiefs?
This is for the Bucks.
Sterling
This is for the
Shepard, I
Bucks.
think,
Shepard.
right?
Yeah,
This
Sterling
was
Shepard.
so this was Sterling Shepard.
This is one of the acrobatic catches I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So makes an amazing, phenomenal catch.
Takes
The
like
ref
2 or
throws
3
him in.
minutes to go
Mind
review
you,
it.
This is
mind
the
you,
last drive of regulation, by the way.
This is when the Bucks are in full momentum, swinging down the field, and this is when Troy Aikman said it. The refs just killed the whole Bucks momentum. They made them stop. The Chiefs
Granted,
defense gets
Theoretically,
It didn't end up
yes,
mattering,
but
but-
Baker Mayfield, I don't know if it was the Zen getting to him or not, but he still performed great after
Yeah.
that review. So.
But again, there was a face mask called on the
No. It should have been called. I don't think it was called.
No,
right?
no. It was.
It was
There
called?
was a face mask called on the offensive line.
Yeah, it was his pad that he lifted up.
He grabbed
Yeah, and his
his
helmet went up with
jersey.
it.
You're right. Because
Yeah.
Aikman was like, "Oh, I don't think he grabbed the face mask." Yeah.
And they did the penalty. They gave the penalty. The very next play.
Jawan Taylor false start. They don't call it.
No, not even that.
No, I know,
This is the
that's another
very
play that
next
drives me
play.
insane.
Very next play. There was a an eligible man downfield. The ref goes up to call the play. In from New York. Wasn't a penalty. Pick up the flag. So
This is shit we do in the
so
NFL
New
now.
York, why didn't you go back to the other play and say, hey, that wasn't a face mask. Pick up the goddamn flag. That's 15 fucking yards. Even if it is a holding. Holding is 10-yard penalty. Face mask
Dom, I think I found the profession for you. You should be the next Gene Steratore to become a ref.
Honestly?
You're already wearing the black and white cap.
Hey.
Yeah, and then very end of the game. This is
right.
overtime. Overtime on the...
Wait, whoa! You can't go to overtime. Yeah, I need you to address
We need a
Jawan Taylor.
timeout
I was
here.
pissed off about that.
Yeah.
That stupid false start shit that they never call on him.
I'm getting to
But
that.
they'll-
That
Wait,
what
that
happened
wasn't
in
overtime.
overtime.
That wasn't
That's what I'm
overtime.
Oh,
getting to.
That
Well,
was
then
a
he did it
Kareem Hunt
multiple
touchdown
times. Multiple
drive.
times. Then he did it before
He
overtime in the
does.
fourth quarter.
He does do it multiple
And they never
times.
called on him, but
Every
they'll call it on the
game.
Ravens. They'll call it on the. They'll
Yeah.
call it on any
Yeah.
offensive line
No,
but Jawan Taylor.
This is overtime. They score here, they win the game.
Yep.
He false starts, and the ref misses it and doesn't throw the flag. They
It wasn't
score the
even
next
like
play.
a close false start. It was
was
obvious.
evident.
I saw it with my own eyes watching
Troy
it live.
Aikman
he
even
kick-started
said.
before Mahomes even started his cadence.
Exactly. You
Like-
can't do that.
No,
That's-
you can't.
that is
No, you can't do
absurd.
But in the red and
The refs
gold,
have to throw the fucking flag.
You'll get away with it. You'll get away with it if you're wearing the
If
Chiefs
you're wearing a
uniform.
red jersey.
And it's like, it's these controversial calls that are just, it's ruining the, I can't watch a Chiefs game anymore.
I was looking forward to this game too
could ever?
because I said if the Bucks win it was going to be close, and if they lose it was going to be close, and the score was 30-24. And you can't say that Baker's the reason they lost this game because the
No,
Bucks
played
never
his
got a
heart
chance to
out.
get back out there.
He played his
and you know
heart
what?
out.
You changed the overtime rules for playoff overtime. Congratulations. Make it every fucking game, regular season or playoff, because I'm tired of watching teams lose games to this stupid freaking scenario right here.
I think
We've now
that
watched
even the other team
Josh
should-
Daniels. We've now watched Josh Allen's career be defined by this overtime with Patrick Mahomes of all people, and now we're going to watch Baker Mayfield be defined by this moment because of Patrick Mahomes and overtime rules. It's
I
stupid.
think that in overtime, correct me, I've never heard about the new overtime rules for playoffs. Is it that both teams
Even
get
if
a
they
chance to
score, you
control?
get a- yeah.
That's
Yes.
how it should be.
Yep.
Why not give the other offense a chance
Or
to
how
answer?
about let's just go to college overtime rules, put both teams at the 25 and have them go for shots at the end zone. First one to, I'd have to look at the actual regulations and stuff to it, but college overtime, you don't watch college football, Dom. I gotta
don't, but,
convert you. That overtime, you'd fall in love with it, and it'd make the NFL fantastic for games to watch.
Let
when
me
they go
just say
17.
this. I agree with what you guys are saying, but there's also a part of me that thinks, well, you should have won it in regulation.
You could have went for 2. But do you risk that? All the momentum, all the energy.
Yes.
See, I'm a conservative person that would say kick the field goal.
I'm
If I
I would like the
aggressive.
way they
I'm
did
aggressive.
I don't know. You're
it's
at the point-
raining. You have all the momentum. You got the Chiefs on their heels. They've been
I
struggling
try to
the
think
whole
so
drive.
much from the coach's perspective. If I'm standing there, I want to go back into. I'd love to go to OT just because. Okay, I just saw my offense go 75 yards.
Can we say that the Seahawks made the same mistake then? They went into overtime on the same drive that went down the field to tie up the game.
But
They
the
coulda went-
difference
Different
is
circumstances.
the difference is that he had the ball in his hands. Baker never had the ball in his hands, and I can see where Todd Bowles was at with this. I'm going to go to overtime and see what my offense can do now that I've seen them drive down the field multiple times in
Oh,
the
yeah.
fourth quarter.
I want it.
That's
now.
why I agree with
I'm
the-
winning it now.
No, but
We have them in the palm of our hands right now.
So
It's
where I
raining
can
out.
see where Nick's going with it is either way you're going to walk away losing if you go to overtime or you.
but they
miss the-
didn't know how it would have turned out.
Either way, the odds are.
I think they
would
would have gotten it.
There's a good chance.
I do.
Because I don't think you run the ball there. I think they could have done some play action boot
Nope.
like they
Play
did.
action, pass a K. Otten touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen, dude, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' new OC has shown us he can do phenomenal calls in the red zone.
Yep.
And they're not a team that struggles too much in the red zone either. So I can see where you're coming at it, Nick. But I wasn't hating the idea of going to overtime. But it just sucks to not see Baker get the ball back in his hands.
I agree 100%.
We watched Josh Allen's career be defined by it. And now I don't want to watch Baker have the same thing.
Yep.
And for what it's worth, I hate Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes played an excellent
He's
game.
so
34 to
overrated.
44.
So then this week, Dom, I guess you're going to be rooting for the Broncos. We play the Chiefs.
Oh, absolutely.
And you better hope that Jay Coop, Nick Bonito, Jonah Ellis get
listen.
after him.
If the Broncos end the
Zach
Chiefs
Allen.
winning streak,
If there's a team to do it, it makes total sense, especially for the people who think that the NFL is scripted, for their AFC division rival and the Broncos to do it. Especially with
Exactly.
Bo Nix.
Yep.
Tell me that doesn't keep headlines in the news. Come on.
Oh, it sure does.
Oh, that'd be
a rookie
talked about for the
quarterback
rest of
going
the
into
season.
Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs
That's the best part is it's not even at home for us, and we play best away. So
this year.
this year, last couple years, Broncos don't
Yeah.
play good at home.
Yeah.
But
Now while we're on this game, let me tell you
I
all
was gonna say,
why I'm
you need
wearing
to
a
share why you're wearing that
Gronk
jersey.
right now. A Patriots jersey on a Broncos fan.
he's wearing a Gronk jersey of all jerseys.
Travis
It's a
Kelce.
great jersey.
It is, but it's just random. I haven't seen it.
It is random for a
Okay,
Broncos fan.
Nick, get where you're going. Get where you're going.
Travis Kelce. Let me start by saying
He sucks.
incredible player.
No.
Don't even start with
can't
that.
say
Don't
that
even
he
start with
sucks.
that.
I know.
You can hate him.
14
You
catches,
can't say he
100 yards.
sucks.
Don't make me defend him because I'm about to go off like
Yeah,
on
you're
a
about to
tangent.
change the whole
Continue.
trajectory of his thing.
So you're messing me up over here. Travis Kelce, incredible player, incredible talent. I don't like him, but I can say he's a great player. Recency bias is insane right now. Are we forgetting how good Gronk was in his prime?
one of the best tight ends, if not
The best tight end.
Yeah.
The best tight end ever. There hasn't been a single other player like him.
I don't
You
know a
who-
tight end who can line up in front of a defensive lineman or linebacker or a corner and completely eliminate them from the play, as well as also be a damn near top 10 receiver if he wanted to be.
He can block. He can catch. He's 6'6".
Even when he was slowed down against the Chiefs in that Super Bowl, he still had 2 touchdowns. They couldn't
Exactly.
game plan him.
Who doesn't love
Exactly.
the Gronk spike? I mean,
I love Gronk.
Who doesn't
I
love
mean,
Gronk in general? He's
let
a
me just
child
say-
at heart.
yeah.
for those of you who don't
Gronk's
know,
phenomenal.
we live in Connecticut, right in the heart of the Patriots, right? At least I did. I grew up watching the Patriots
Yeah, I
because
had no
that's who was
choice.
on every week,
No choice. Yeah.
right?
It's our local stations, too.
Exactly.
Doesn't help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching Tom Brady, Gronk, Edelman, Amendola, Deion Lewis, LeGarrette Blount, all these
The
players.
list keeps going,
Yeah.
unfortunately. 20 years
Incredible
of success. Yep.
I watched Gronk almost his entire career, right? I've never seen anything like it.
And
He is
don't forget, he comes back with Tom Brady on the Bucs and wins another Super Bowl.
dominant. He is probably the most dominant player I've seen in my lifetime.
Kelsey will never do that because I honestly think he could retire this year.
Absolutely.
He looks slow. He looks miserable out there,
Not
too.
only he's past his prime already, and he didn't do it yet.
Yes, he had a
He's
good
not
game last
gonna.
night, but did you see him after every play? Dude, he gets up now and I don't think he's wheezing. He just looks gassed.
He looks tired.
He doesn't
yeah.
look like Travis Kelsey of 2 years ago
No,
or
he
last year
doesn't.
even.
I mean, look at how he started the year. It was.
I mean,
rough.
really, all they need Travis Kelsey to do is pop off and be himself in the playoffs, but still, you're not seeing old Travis Kelsey.
All his catches are catch, go down, catch, go down.
Well, it's almost like
Which
what
is
we see
smart.
Tyler
Lockett.
Lockett.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, which is smart because Tyler Lockett has proven that you can
It
have
works.
longevity if you
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
to be
But
aware.
I think it's too late. I think he should have been doing.
We
it.
saw
But
Gronk running through people.
Well, yeah, in
till the day
overtime.
he
That's
Did you
why
see
Gronk
him
was
before
hurt
the
every
Kareem
year.
Hunt touchdown? He got tackled by like 3 different guys. When they threw him to
pushed
the
him
ground,
back.
when they threw him to the ground at the end of that tackle, dude, like I said, he got up, and you can just see age catching up to him. You can see all the hits starting to get to him.
Say what you want about Gronk, that would never happen to him.
And don't get me wrong, don't get this twisted. I have tons of respect for Travis Kelsey because
I do too.
you take the Chiefs away from it. You cannot,
Insane
you can't
talent.
say that he isn't a big piece of the NFL in terms of the tight end and the history behind the position.
Yep.
And he will go down for years in conversation as one of the greatest tight ends to ever play football.
I will say he's a top 5 tight end of all time.
Of all time.
I'll say that.
Of all time.
Is he the best? Hell no.
But this is kind of like the LeBron and Jordan scenario where I sit here and I say that Gronk, at least for me, is the greatest tight end of all time.
By far and away.
He's the one tight end that I could sit there and say, screw it, if my left tackle goes down, I'd trust Gronk doing it for a play. Gronk's proven he's physical enough to block and can take guys on who are much bigger than him. And he's bigger than most guys, to be honest, so it doesn't
He's
matter.
huge.
Yep.
That's why they had to go for his
He
knees all the
embarrassed the
time.
Broncos secondary year in and year out back in the
You know that
the old
one-handed
days.
catch?
Yes, against us
Was
too.
us.
And then he did against the Colts too.
Yeah.
Well, they play the Colts all the time, so he probably has many plays against the Colts. But yeah. Yep. That was against Darian Stewart, was it not? It was one of our safeties.
It was either him or TJ Ward.
Dude, all I know is that clip is still around. That clip always
I
goes
see it
around.
constantly.
Yeah, it's one of the first highlights in a Gronk highlight video.
Yeah.
It was like 2013, 14.
It was in the
happened.
beginning of the Manning Bronco.
Yeah.
Just like stint. I don't know. I don't got any much more to say on the Chiefs. I'm kind of sick of it. I already have to watch my team play them this coming week.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we move on to the primetime games to look out for Week 10 of the NFL season. We got an okay game on Thursday night. I think it could be high scoring, but I still think it goes to the Ravens.
Offensive battle.
Yeah, we got Bengals at Ravens on Thursday Night Football.
We already
taking
saw
Bengals.
them play this year. 41-30.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
It could definitely be high scoring. I don't see the Bengals taking it.
I'm going to say Bengals. I have faith in Joe Burrow that Joe Burrow's going to pull through here.
If he's going to, I would see it happening on primetime, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Ravens.
I'm going to go Bengals.
And I'm going to go...
Bengals.
I'm going to go score prediction on this. I'm going to go 28-21.
I think it's going to be higher.
I do too.
It could be, but I just... Thursday night games... And this could prove me wrong. Thursday night games just don't ever fare.
38-35, Bengals.
I was literally going to say the same exact score.
That would be a phenomenal game. You have the Bengals winning that, though?
I have the Bengals up by 3.
I could see that happening as a game-winning field goal for the Bengals. Yeah, you're right.
Evan McPherson.
Yeah. I want that. Put it in the books because I have Evan McPherson in fantasy.
There you go.
Next, on Sunday Night Football, we got Lions at Texans. And though this game would have been great 2, 3, 4 weeks ago or last season,
Lions are taking this.
the Texans just...
They're
There's
sluggish.
too many questions right now, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And at first it was injuries, but Tank Dell is still phenomenal, still playing even
126 yards
Yeah,
this week.
exactly. I'm just not seeing the CJ Stroud that I saw last year. I'm not
Sophomore
seeing. It's got to be, and I'm not writing him off at all.
He's a very good player.
It's just not the CJ Stroud we saw even week 1 or week 2. It's just there's a lot of questions, and the defense is always up and down.
I think the Lions have been too consistently good. I think they're easily taking this game.
Agreed.
I think it's going to be a blowout. I think I'm going to go
Blowout?
28-7.
I don't know.
28-7.
I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
a strange score. I'm going to go...
24-10, I'd say, around there.
I agree.
24-10, yeah. I'm going to go Lions 24-10. I think that's a reasonable score. CJ Stroud definitely gets the offense into the red zone. It might be Joe Mixon who punches it in, but they're still going to get in the red zone.
Yeah.
At least once.
I hope Joe Mixon scores. I need it.
I wish I had him in fantasy. I mean, yes, Barkley's great, don't get me wrong, but when he's the only running back I have, it's kind of like,
Imagine having both of them.
Okay.
good for you, all right, buddy?
Monday Night Football.
161 points for my team this
All right,
week.
like Dom just said, Monday Night Football, screw your team.
Dolphins at the Rams.
This game's weird. Both teams are getting scrappy. Both teams are not great.
They're
but
both trending.
scrappy,
They're both trending
competitive.
upwards.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Don't look at the records for this game.
I think another offensive battle with this one.
I want to go Dolphins. I want them to. I'm so in now that Tua's back.
Yeah, but we just saw the Rams beat the Seahawks, and that was without
That's
Puka
the
Nacua.
second week we've seen the Rams win 2 games that we didn't think they were going to win.
They're on a 4-win streak?
It might just be 2 or 3.
Either
If
way.
it's 4, that's great. That's fantastic.
it's...
But I only think 2 because they beat the Vikings on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Which I did
winning
not
before
have them
that.
winning that game. And then you beat the Seahawks in OT, which was a phenomenal game, which I also did not have them winning that game, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely said the Seahawks were going to struggle. They always do in divisional games. But I thought...
Especially without DK.
But I thought the Seahawks would figure it out.
I thought the Seahawks would also win that. So
And they
with this being said, I'm going to go Rams. I think a very
I don't
close,
know.
high-scoring game again.
I want to go Dolphins really bad. I'm going to go Dolphins. I love Tua and the Dolphins. When healthy, he's
21-17
phenomenal.
for me.
But, yeah.
21-17.
Okay.
Rams.
It could go either way, honestly.
I'm going to go Rams 24-17.
So I'm alone here with the Dolphins.
Yes, you are.
Score predictions. I'm gonna go 20-13.
Okay.
Okay.
Dolphins. And then, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. For Sunday games to look out for, we never know. Come next week, we could have a lot of games to talk about.
I'm sure we will.
Right now, we've got 4
Projected
major
good
games
ones.
to look out for.
Yeah.
We're going to start with 49ers at Buccaneers. I say this because both teams I refuse to write off. These 2 teams could easily, rise in ranks in the NFC.
With CMC coming back
Yes,
and then just
exactly.
how good Baker
And
Mayfield's
Baker
been
just
doing.
doesn't give a shit who he plays,
Exactly.
who he has on the team. Baker's Baker no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
So-
And this, I think, is a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
I think that this game is going to be a bit more defensive. So I'm going to go...
It could start defensive. It might end like the last few games of the Bucs have been, where they
Yeah.
start slow and they just end at the.
But I think it's going to stay that way. I think that what you're saying is right. I think most of the points are going to come towards the end, but I'm going to go low scoring with a 14-10 Bucs.
Wow. I don't want to see the Bucs lose another game, bro. But I really want to go Niners.
I'm sticking with the Bucs. I love Baker Mayfield too much to write him off, and I want the 49ers to lose because
Yeah, we know, and I get it.
yeah,
I get
divisional with the Seahawks. So
it. Nick, where are you sitting?
I picked Baker Mayfield in the Bucks last week. I'm going to pick him again this week. I'm going Buccaneers
that's good.
21-14.
Similar to mine.
You know what? If there's any guy who can beat the Niners, it's Baker Mayfield. So you know what? I'll do it too.
Exactly.
For Sunday games, I'm not gonna go score prediction.
I am.
You guys can. No, I'm always. But the Sunday games, I'm very vague with them. I'll just go Baker. We'll go down the line.
Okay.
Next, we got
Huge one.
Steelers at
Huge
Commanders in
one.
this game. God, I really
So
hope.
much on the line right here.
I know who I want to win.
No, we're gonna see
I know who I
how
want to
Russ
lose.
really
Let me
plays
rephrase
against
that.
a real team. We're going to see how Russ actually plays against
And
Russ.
that's
we
why I'm
are.
excited to play. And
Bobby
that's why.
Wagner knows him so well.
Yes.
That's also true. They played on the same team for how many years together?
10.
Not only that, I
decade.
just can't wait. I cannot wait to get on this pod next week and just look at
Oh,
Dom in the
if
face
Russell Wilson
and be like,
struggles,
Jaden Daniels is
I'm
him
gonna-
and Russell Wilson is not.
Bro,
That's
if
what I
Russell
get
Wilson
passionate with
struggles,
this.
I'm wearing a Rush jersey if he struggles next week. I'll book it right now.
No, you can't represent him, bro. Even
Unless
if
the
it's for-
Broncos
Yes,
win.
you can.
If the Broncos lose and Rush struggles, I'll wear a Russell Wilson Broncos jersey. Just to
Man, I don't even want you to wear that shit. Just burn it.
I
I
got two
think
of them, bro. I
Tape the nameplate. Change it.
to who? Will Lutz? He didn't wear
Sure.
that jersey.
Drew
He didn't
Lock
wear
on
that
the
jersey with
Broncos?
that number.
It don't matter.
Fair
It don't
enough.
matter. It's better than
Drew
Russ.
Lock.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Yeah, that's my quarterback. Okay. I'm gonna
but
go
put on for
Commanders.
my city.
Steelers.
Okay, buddy.
Tom
Buddy,
Holland's
you're just a
good.
Russell Wilson.
No. I think it's more than that. I think it's the defense is going to pull through. The Steelers defense, we know is going to
I mean,
consistently
they just
good.
got
You got me choking up
Preston
over here.
Smith. Or Sedar. No,
No,
they
it's
got
Preston.
Smith.
Preston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Steelers.
we know the Steelers defense is nasty now, and Mike Williams could, but we've seen in the
I don't
first
think he's
game
gonna have a
receivers
big
don't.
impact
Yeah, we've
yet.
seen that in first
Yet.
game
I
receivers
think,
don't have a big impact.
I think it's going to be 21-20.
Whoa,
Ooh.
whoa.
21-20 Steelers. I think there's going to be a
You think
miss
Russ
for
is gonna have a
Russell
late
later.
game winning drive?
No.
Yes,
The way-
actually.
the way he's having it line up, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I have Commanders winning this.
I do too.
I don't give a shit how much they win by. They're winning.
21-20 Steelers.
If they win by 1 point, I'll be ecstatic.
Screw it. I'll go 21-20 Commanders just to size you up.
Oh, size me up.
Okay, don't make it like.
I'm going 17-14 Commanders.
I like that score
That's a good score.
because this defense isn't gonna allow Jaden to open up as much as he has
Exactly.
been.
yeah.
You got to be realistic.
Yeah. And now the next week one, I didn't really want to mention this game.
Yeah, well,
This
I don't
is
know
going
why
to be
Yeah.
an historically awesome game.
this game is just fucking a letdown.
Titans.
Let's be real. Can we be
Chargers.
honest for a second? Dom, you did this list. The Titans
Listen,
and Chargers?
listen.
Come on, you doing the people like this?
Listen.
Man, you might as well just go watch some commercials.
Brand power.
Whopper.
Okay, stop. You're going to get us
I
copyright.
think a Bud Light commercial is more entertaining than this game might be.
Where's the
skip
puppy
it.
monkey baby
Okay, you know what?
commercial,
Then
bro?
let's skip it then. Let's skip it.
Is Harbaugh gonna have another shitting incident on the sideline? That might be more
bro.
entertaining than the
He's
game.
better. He's overrated.
Eagles at Cowboys.
No, you put your pick in. You put it on the list. Stand
you
by
guys
it.
are shit all over me for it.
Because it's terrible. I mean, I'm gonna go Chargers. but
Chargers,
Jesus.
yeah,
What do you
Chargers.
think? You really think the Titans are gonna pull that away?
Chargers 14-0.
And it's in LA.
14-0.
14-3,
I don't
14-3,
know about- I don't
14-3.
know
It's gonna be
about
like
that.
28-3. Chargers are
No.
gonna light them up.
I don't know.
14-3.
That they just came into overtime and barely beat the
I'm a Chargers
Patriots.
hater, bro.
Of course we
I'm a
are, but
Charger.
still, like,
I'm a Justin Herbert hater.
so am I. But whatever.
I don't think he's good at all. Let me go.
If you say Titans, bro, don't even just skip.
I'm going Chargers.
Okay,
10-7.
that's
Oh.
terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Did you pick yet?
Yeah, I said 14-3. Chargers.
Again, why is it so low scoring? You really
Because
don't
I
even
feel
think-
Both offenses are terrible.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say
Justin Herbert is not a good
Nah.
quarterback. I
J.K.
will die on
Dobbins is
that
going to
hill.
run all over the Titans defense.
Maybe he won't.
Okay,
gonna-
well, whatever. We're going to move on to the next
Yeah.
game. Eagles, Cowboys. Another, well, I mean, Jalen Hurts and Saquon have proven they can make any game entertaining.
Eagles are going to steamroll the Cowboys. No
Oh, so yeah, I
Micah
guess it's
Parsons,
entertaining.
no Dak Prescott.
yeah, that's true. Saquon Barkley's going to run right through him. It's going to be like a hot knife through butter.
So, my God, you told me I'm going to get another 30-point game in fantasy?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ooh, let's go.
I hope
Better.
so.
Let's go.
As long as I'm not playing you.
I don't know who the hell I'm playing. I don't pay attention until that good point comes.
Yeah.
I'll check tomorrow morning when I check my waiver claims.
Yup.
I'll be like, projections are terrible this
I'm
week.
playing the worst team in my league this week.
28-zip.
Can someone look up the Week 10 schedule? I got to give someone more than just these games. Come on.
28-0.
Yeah, Eagles. No, you're going to look up that schedule and notice why I picked these 4 games.
Yeah, there's not
Let's
much
get
to-
Broncos Chiefs up here.
Yeah, why didn't you put Broncos Chiefs? Respect us. Come on, now.
Put some respect on our
always put
name.
the Seahawks
we
on
only
there.
lost by 31
No,
points.
your team's on a bye week. You just can't mention them. That's the only reason. Isn't the Seahawks on a bye week?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're on their bye
That's what I
week.
thought. See, I know your team. Come on, respect my team. Chiefs, Broncos. I'm going Broncos. Fuck the Chiefs.
I hope the Broncos win, so I'm taking Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos
Nick,
14
I swear
to 10.
God, if you
I can't pick the Chiefs. I can't.
okay,
It's literally-
I thought I looked up and I saw you go reality.
He
and
was
I'm like,
thinking
come
about
on.
it. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
really thinking about it.
Let
for a
me
minute.
say, this game's going to be close regardless
Awkward
of who
pause.
wins. This game is going to be a lot closer
Because
than
he so
people
badly
think.
wants to be realistic.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna text me, but like he's gonna text
The
me on
first play of the game
he's
when the
gonna text
Broncos
me on the
screw something
kickoff
up.
and be like, the game's over.
before the kickoff even happens, bro, the coin toss.
You guys have no idea how negative this kid is of anything that
bro,
happens in a game.
if one bad thing happens in a Broncos game, the whole game is ruined.
He doesn't give him any chances.
The whole game is ruined.
He said the game's over against the Ravens, and then we had the Philly special that we now own.
The game was over.
Can you shut up?
I was right.
Okay, give me score predictions for this one.
Score predictions?
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Gabe, I want yours for this one, too.
Oh, I got you. They're already in my head right now.
Good.
I'm going to go 21.
Oh.
17.
Oh.
Denver Broncos go into Arrowhead, beat the Chiefs.
So close to mine. I was going to say 21-14 Broncos.
I think this Chiefs defense is going to get exposed this week.
I'm going to go 24-17 Broncos.
All close.
Oh, yeah.
Close.
I got Bo going over 20 this week.
Oh, yeah. I hope.
Man, you just show me Bo Nix running out of the tunnel and I get hyped. I just love Bo Nix on this team,
That video
bro.
of him looking at the planes flying overhead, bro.
I have a wallpaper of him walking up to the tunnel like this.
That's a tough photo. Yeah, I saw that photo.
Yeah, dude. I love me Bo Nix, bro. You know, anything can happen this season. I'm already happy. I'm already encouraged.
They're trending upwards.
Cannot wait for Sean Payton to have another offseason of hopefully making calculated improvements to this team with Bo Nix.
I agree.
I bought his jersey.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. You know, financials are not the best. Yeah, Dom's right, guys. There's not a lot to work with this week. You know, but football's football. So, like I said, we'll deal with what we got. I'm sure next week there's gonna be more stories.
We got exciting results.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something that come out of the games. I mean, we certainly didn't have the Eagles and the Jags last week, and look what happened this week. So, like I said, catch out. Watch out for next week's episode because there could be more games that come with it. And with that, that is all we have. This was a fun episode. I think it was a good one. It was a good trade deadline, I must say.
Oh, yeah.
Came right down to the wire.
A lot of news.
And with that, we will see you guys next week.
Absolutely.
So join the huddle and join the talk.